El Paso was at the forefront of the immigration crisis, a politicized and polarized issue that vaulted our region into the national spotlight. The headlines then were focused on the hundreds of thousands of migrants seeking asylum. The headlines today focus on the life-altering pandemic. ABC 7's Mauricio Casillas shows us the shifting crisis. It's a story you'll see only on ABC 7.
This path right here was one that was so often used by migrants last May. And take a look, this tattered clothing serves as a reminder that some are still trying to make their way up north into the U.S. But rather than seeing thousands of people cross over per day, right now we're seeing just a few dozen.
This is where the majority of the people would cross, mostly families and children, and they would find Border Patrol agents, turn themselves in. In today's environment here in May of 2020, that's completely different.
In May of 2019, President Trump tweeted this video. He stated it shows the largest group of migrants ever apprehended crossing into the United States. 1,036 right here in El Paso. A captivating video that for some underscored the need for stricter border security, and for others displayed the desperation that fuels migrants to head north.
Humans can only endure so much.
Linda Rivas is the executive director for Las Americas, a nonprofit that provides legal representation to migrants.
Go to the bridge.
Her clients are asylum seekers who've been sent back to Mexico to wait for their day in court. Due to the health crisis, she's only able to communicate with them by phone.
I have some clients say, I'll do anything. I don't care how long I wait. I don't care how much I suffer. I want to have my day in court. I want to do everything I can. And then there are others that absolutely reach a breaking point.
Nearly 1 million migrants were apprehended on the southwest border last fiscal year, the numbers peaking last May at more than 144,000. After that, restrictive immigration policies and increased enforcement by the Mexican National Guard led to a sharp decline. Take a look at this year's statistics now. You start to see the effects that the pandemic is having on migration. In April, slightly more than 16,000 migrants were apprehended. That's a decrease of more than 88%.
This is why Title 42 to us has been a huge advantage, because it's limiting exposure and not spreading the coronavirus to areas unnecessarily.
Title 42 is a provision in U.S. law that was amended in March due to the pandemic. In an effort to prevent COVID-19 from entering through the borders, Customs and Border Protection now has the authority to quickly expel migrants they apprehend without detaining them.
If the person is not a significant aggravated felon, or there's a significant criminal charge, that person is immediately placed in a transport vehicle and is transported to the nearest port of entry to be returned back into Mexico immediately from the border.
Chavez says this helps keep her agents and their families safe. But Rivas worries the Trump administration is using the health crisis to further restrict immigration.
Here you have an administration who on one side of their mouth wants to open the economy, but yet on the other side, COVID-19 is so dangerous that our borders are completely sealed.
According to the Transnational Clearinghouse at Syracuse University, there are nearly 3,000 pending cases at El Paso immigration courts for asylum seekers who were returned to Mexico. Their hearings are up in the air. They've been delayed at least until late June, prolonging their legal limbo.